You know how this story plays out already. Something Nintendo Switch 2 goes on the internet. Doesn't matter who wrote it, doesn't matter who talks about it. It's going on the internet. Websites are going to pick it up and run stories on it. YouTubers are going to run clickbait videos on it. I get it, man. It's a grind. Everyone's out here trying to make a dollar. But RGT, he likes to sit back. He likes to wait. Look at the situation. Talk to some people that he knows. Analyze who's involved in this situation, where it's coming from, and look at it from a larger perspective and see if this stuff is indeed feasible. And today, you can tell by the title of the video, we're talking about some new leaks that have popped up online that I'm sure you've already watched a million videos on this by now, but hey, it's time for the realness. Clarifying recent leaks and adding new info regarding Sega and Square. Yes! It's I'm a Hero 2, and I'm going to stay on Reddit from now on. Thank God I'm a Hero 2, because I've been wondering where you have been. Now, if you don't know who this individual is, they are originally from Reset Era, and allegedly they have a pretty decent track record. Obviously, nobody has a perfect track record or anything like that, but this person has been right about things before in the past. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm very well familiar with them, but it does seem like they do have somewhat of a decent track record, so keep that in mind. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect, nobody gets everything right, and some people just talk out their ass and things end up becoming true just out of circumstance. A broken clock is right twice a day. But this individual is going to tell us about some Sega stuff, some Square Enix stuff, and Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, because it actually plays a pretty sizable role in these leaks and rumors. Now, I'm not going to go over every single bit of information here because some of it I don't care about. Persona 6, I'm sorry, I don't care. But there is some stuff about Sega that I wanted to highlight. Another Sonic is coming next year, along with Jet Set, Comic Zone, and a new Guardian Heroes. Not sure on the date for that one. So I'm guessing what we're saying here is that Sonic, Jet Set Radio, and Comic Zone are all coming back. Now, at first, this reads kind of like a fan fiction, because obviously Sega fans love this sort of stuff. But when you think about it, allegedly there's been, some sort of film production of Jet Set Radio and Comic Zone that has been happening. So it's not like this is a crazy guess or anything like that. If anything, obviously out of these four, like a Sonic game coming out next year, of course, Sonic games always come out. We got 2 this year. The sort of wild card is the Guardian Heroes, but we're not sure on the date of that. So that means, if it never happens, it just got canceled. Like, it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet to assume that something is going to happen in games alongside of the film productions. Like, I don't know, Persona 6 crap. And then we have some interesting stuff that kicks off the set, because I'm already at a red flag here. And then we have another red flag here. Switch 2 dev kits have been here a while. I can verify it is backwards compatible with a few games tested. New cartridge, new camera feature. Okay, lots to unpack there. So the dev kits, we've heard about this, and I fully believe that there are dev kits out there at this point in time. That's not necessarily indicative of an announcement coming up anytime soon, but obviously when the system comes out, developers are going to want to have games readily available for it whenever that is, assuming it's sometime in 2024. So that's not outside the realm of possibility. But here is where we get into the red flags of it. Backwards compatible with a few games tested, new cartridge. Okay, so what you're telling me, I'm going to assume I'm reading this correctly. Is that you or someone, whoever your source of information is, tested physical Nintendo Switch games on this new dev kit system, which isn't necessarily indicative of a final build. Always keep that in mind. But they tested physical games on there, but there's a new cartridge-based medium as well. So is it the same slot or is it a different slot? You're going to tell me that there's 2 cartridge mediums that are going to be on this system on board. Not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible at all, but that sort of raises the price of things. You know what I'm saying? That's adding into the cost of the system, because not only do you have one form of physical media that works on it, but you have 2. And you could say, oh, well, it could be like a DS to 3DS situation. And maybe it could be, but this seems a lot more intricate than something like that. Plus, Nintendo DS cartridges were always cheap. You didn't have the need to have these larger, massive cartridges on these games because everything could fit on there because the physical media was already cheap. A new camera feature. What is this? A 3DS? Going backwards here. Augmented reality. We're giving that another try. Like, what are we doing with this why do I need a camera? Why do I need a camera on a handheld console? With the 3DS, you know, it was innovative. It was sort of different because, you know, this is when smartphones were still kind of in their infancy. Not every person had a nice smartphone. So you had the DSi, you had the 3DS. Cameras were cool then. They're not cool anymore. Nobody needs a camera. They have a camera in their pocket. They have a computer in their pocket. So more red flags here. And then we get into arguably the biggest red flag of them all. There's some Final Fantasy IX Remake stuff, Final Fantasy R2 stuff. I mean, and you look at this and you're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. It's like, who do you think it is? Okay, what game did they just release within the Final Fantasy VII universe last year to sort of, you know, give you an introduction to who that character is? But alas, here's where things get fun here. So Square has new PS5 Dev Kits. We're assuming these are the Pro. I'm not even going to get into that. I think the whole thing is ridiculous. But here, this is the real kicker here. Final Fantasy VII Remake looks and runs like a PS5 game on Switch 2 Dev Kit. Port took no time, I'm told. Could be a launch game, not sure yet. And here are the red flags. These are the red flags that I have with this. Is it possible for a PS5 game to run on a Nintendo Switch 2, even though we don't know anything about it? Of course it is. Of course it is. It all comes down to the developers. You've seen lots of games. You know, look at Mortal Kombat 1 that's coming out. There's a PlayStation 5 version, an Xbox Series version. There's no last generation version, and then you have the Switch version. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. But it runs and looks like a PlayStation 5 game. How? How does it run like a PlayStation 5 game? How does it look like a PlayStation 5 game? Because remember, that is not a PlayStation 5 game. Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a PlayStation 5 game. It's a PlayStation 4 game. It came out on the PlayStation 4. So it looks and runs exactly like the PS5 version, which of course was an upgrade version that had some additional DLC. And this is coming to the Switch. Could be a launch game. Not sure yet. Interesting. Now, of course, when you look at this, Square did have timed exclusivity with PlayStation when it came to Final Fantasy VII Remake. But you're going to tell me that it's coming to the Switch before it comes to the Xbox Series? Really? Maybe they launch alongside of each other? But then, like, I don't... you know what this is? This is one of those things where it sounds too good to be true. You know what I'm saying? And now, if there is no Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch 2, you know, within like the first year or something, this person, they've damaged their reputation beyond really repair. And like I said, this person does seem to have somewhat of a decent track record, but a lot of these things are just red herrings for me. You know, the fact that we're saying, oh yeah, Jet Set Radio, Comic Zone, like, it sounds good on the surface until you think about it and you're like, oh yeah, they're making like movies about those games. So it would make sense for them to, you know, make games to go alongside of the movies. Switch 2 dev kits are here. Okay. It's a backwards compatible system, but it uses new cartridges. So there's either 2 cartridge slots or it's in the 1 slot, but it has 2 different SoCs running on it. Like, that doesn't sound very cheap. And a camera feature, you know, like I said, there's always a chance that the things we talk about with this stuff can be true. I'm never saying it's 100% factual or 100% fake. However, if you put a Glock to my head and said, pick one, pick a side. Either the Switch 2 has the new cartridge slot and a camera and Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to it, or it's not. I'm saying it's not. I think this really reads like something, you know, out of a fan fiction. There could be sprinklings of information in here that are true. That's what they do with a lot of leaks sometimes. Some of the things are true, some of the things are not true. And why does that happen? Because the people that are leaking this information to the individuals will sometimes give them false information to see if this information gets out there and people start talking about it, because then you can easily identify who the person that is leaking is with this sort of stuff, if there's like an internal investigation going on within a company. So I don't know, man. It seems far-fetched to me. You know, there's way too many softball things here, and the hardball things seem a little bit too hardball. But maybe I'm wrong. You know, Zippo's dunking on me right now over on his blog because of the Super Mario Wonder stuff. Look, Zippo, credit where it's due. You said there was going to be Super Mario Wonder stuff this week. There was. I'm not above, you know, being wrong about something, even though I never said anything about there not being Super Mario Brothers Wonder stuff, but he doesn't like me. Join the club, Zippo. Join the club. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of all of this stuff. Is it all poppycock? Because I'm pretty sure it is. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.